Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe, and around here we like the video before we watch it, so just go down below and leave me a like. Let's get to 500 likes on this video. I'm actually super excited to make this video because I've been meaning to make this video for, I could actually say, the past 2 years. Like, I was supposed to make this video in 2020 and I didn't end up making it, but I just think it's like a perfect time to make it. I don't know why, but I feel like I've gained enough audience for me to be able to reach as many people as I can to watch this video and to actually gain something from it. So as you can see by the title of the video, today I'm going to be talking about how I got 2 Cambridge Awards and how I came top in the country twice. So if you don't know what Cambridge Awards are, they are Outstanding Learners Cambridge Awards. I think that's what it's called. It's just called an Outstanding Learners Award. An Outstanding Learners Award is for people who come top in the world in A-level, any subject in A-level maths, religious studies, anything in A-level or O-level or AS level, so the 3 levels of Cambridge. And then yeah, you can get an Outstanding Learners Award. So this is top in the country, top in the world. I think there's also top in your region or something like that, but there's so many different types of awards that you can get for an Outstanding Learners Award. So I came top in the country twice for geography in AS level and A level. So basically I got the highest results in Zimbabwe in A level geography and AS level geography. So yeah, I'm just going to be sharing my tips and tricks to how I did it. A lot of people have asked me so many questions on Instagram, and I have replied a lot of people privately, but now I think A-level exams, AS level exams and O-level exams are coming up. I think this is a perfect time to make this video if you do A-level or if you do Matric. If you do Matric, don't worry, this video is still very relevant. I didn't study in South Africa for my high school, so I don't really know what Matric awards that they are, but I'm sure it's just as relevant. This is specifically to students that want to get really high grades. It's not easy to get a Cambridge Award, it's not easy to get it twice, not to mention. So this video is specifically for those students that dare to dream big or want to actually be able to get something like that, and I've always wanted or always been wondering, how did you do that? How do you do that? So yeah, I'm going to be giving you guys all the top tips and tricks. I did write my A-levels just about over like 1.5 years ago. That's when I wrote my A-levels, but the tips and tricks that I used to get those Cambridge Awards are still the things that I do implement in my university life right now. That's why I still remember, and that's why I think it's still very relevant. I didn't really see as many Cambridge Award videos. I saw quite a few for art, for how to get a Cambridge Award for art, but not for things like mathematics, geography, business studies, statistics and stuff like that. That's why I'm deciding to make this video for you guys. So stay tuned and don't forget to give me a like and subscribe. My first tip to getting Cambridge Awards is daily work, even if it's just doing a small thing every day. So I got my 2 Cambridge Awards for geography, so I'm going to be applying it to geography, but depending on whatever subject that you want to get your Cambridge Awards in, you can apply it to that. So for geography, what I would do is I would try to do daily work. Not every day, I'm not gonna lie, especially weekends. I usually took my weekends off, but during the weeks, especially in holiday, like August and April holidays are probably the most essential time in your whole A-level or AS level career, because you've got a full month of doing absolutely nothing. So if you do have that time, depending on when your summer holiday is or when your winter holiday is, you need to be able to maximize the amount of hours that you're studying on that holiday. Okay, you need to be able to be studying every single day consistently. Like, I'm not talking about generally getting an A, we're talking about how to get Cambridge Awards, getting the highest result in the country. The highest result in the country, best believe, is probably not more less than 95%. So if you're looking at 95% and above, or 90% and above, depending on what subject you're doing, the highest result in the country requires a lot of work if you want to get a Cambridge Award. But a lot of people do get Cambridge Awards for food and nutrition. So many different Cambridge Awards there are to get, but then you just need to put in the work, and it needs to be a daily thing. You need to be creating a daily routine. So what I would do is I'll write down a to-do list. my to-do list was basically a to-do list for the month. It wasn't a to-do list every day because I just didn't have that mindset yet. I was still naive and young, and I didn't have that drive yet, but what I did implement did work. So I wrote down a to-do list for the month, all of the chapters that I was going to be examined on at the end of the year, because by now I'm sure you've covered 3/4 of the syllabus, if not all of it. So you need to be able to be going over everything that you've done since January, 3 or 2 months before. You need to at least know what you're doing a couple of months before. Trying to get 90% 3 days before the exam or a week before the exam is not going to work. So even if you do have 1 month left and you are watching this video and you've only got a month left, it can still work. You just need to be putting in that time. I would suggest at least 6 hours a day, 6 hours or 5 to 6 hours, because you are only A-level students. So I wouldn't really say go 12 hours a day studying. It's not healthy, but a good 6 hours a day is what you need. You just need to be doing daily work. That's my top number 1 tip. Consistency is key. Okay, my next top tip is past papers are essential. You need to have done as many past papers as possible. Obviously, there are past papers that I haven't done that I've never seen before, but I just try to at least browse through as many past papers as I can, just to see the types of questions that they're gonna ask you. If you do have a teacher who was pushing you guys, if you do have a good teacher, I had a really good A-level geography teacher, and she did show us the patterns that they put in the exams. So there's kind of like a pattern that Cambridge follows. I don't know if anyone has noticed, but there's a pattern that Cambridge follows, that a specific topic, like in geography you've got case studies, right? I think you've got a big 13-mark question at the end of the paper. So I don't really remember clearly, but you've got a big 13-mark question at the end of the paper where you have a case study to do. So sometimes your case study can be on tourism, or your case study can be on fluvial geomorphology, or it can be on weather systems or something like that. So there was a pattern that they followed. Okay, if you look at the June papers for the year we're doing, let's say 2022, I look at the June papers and there were 2 variants. Let's say the variant 1 had fluvial geomorphology and the second variant had tourism. That means that your end of year exams 9 times out of 10, okay, is not going to have your case study as fluvial geomorphology and tourism. It's going to probably have something different, like it's going to have, I don't know, population or migration, for your case study. So you need to study past papers. You need to study them in a very smart way where you can see the pattern of what they did, because usually they won't repeat population case study in the beginning of the year and in the end of the year. That's why I'm saying it's very important to see the past papers, especially for your year, and the past papers for the year before. Okay, that you need to look at the pattern. What did they put? What have they not examined in a while? Okay. Actually, this is actually a very smart thing that one of my teachers did. One of my extra lessons teachers actually spotted what case study was going to come in at the end of the year. We looked at last year's past papers, We looked at last year's past papers, and we looked at the current year's past papers, and we saw what had they not asked. We looked at 3 years back, what had they not asked in a while. And I studied that topic so hard. I think this was for business studies. I say human resource management or something like that. And then I studied that so hard, and like this, it came in the exam. So you need to be able to look through your past papers and to be able to see what have they not asked in the past years. And then part B of looking at past papers is you need to use them wisely. It is not going to help you to read past paper answer booklets and then go and answer the questions. Okay, you cannot go over the answers first and then answer the questions as if you already know, as if like you're just rewriting what you saw in the past paper. You need to be able to do the question, get it wrong if you get it wrong, get it right if you get it right, then yay. Get it wrong if you get it wrong. That's how you learn. That's how you remember things. Okay, you need to get that wrong. Okay, and then yeah, so just using your past papers in a good way. Sometimes people use past papers very wrong, and like I am also guilty of doing this, where I look at the marking scheme and then I do the paper trying to rewrite what I saw in the marking scheme, but I'm not really retaining that information. I think you retain only 30% of the information, as opposed to getting it wrong and doing it again, getting it wrong and doing it again. I'm sure if you see that in the third time in the exam, you will definitely not get it wrong if you've already gotten it wrong twice. So that's how you use past papers. Do not look at marking schemes before you look at the question. You are setting yourself up for failure. Yeah, so past papers. And then utilizing textbooks again. I know some subjects, some people have textbooks that are a bit dodgy, but if you do ask your teachers what are the best resources to use for, studying, textbooks are very good. Like I said, in geography, business studies, just content heavy subjects, history, using your textbook is very good, especially if you've got case studies and stuff like that. You need to be able to have as many examples as you can to apply it. I think the thing that helped me get the highest mark in geography in the country was being able to give examples. The amount of examples that I went to that exam knowing, any paragraph that I would write or any sentence that I would explain, let's say the question was describe what is a settlement. I would say a settlement is this and this. For example, the Weru settlement in Zimbabwe, or for example something settlement in Highlands, okay? For example, the something settlement in Highlands, Harare, Zimbabwe. 2 marks in the bag, just like that. Just because examples are very good at showing that you understand the work. Even in history, when you give an example as the war ended like this because the war ended like this because of this, right? For example, this war in this place at this time on this date, okay? It shows that you know how the war ended, why the war ended like that, who led that specific war that you're talking about. Examples are extremely important, okay? And these mainly come from textbooks. So diversifying your reading is really going to put you in that top bar, because most people they copy paste, okay? Like a lot of people copy paste their answers. They copy paste what they saw, what they know from their notes in class, but they don't actually understand what it actually means for something to be a settlement, what it actually means for someone to be a refugee. So for when I say a refugee is this and this, for example, this refugee camp or these refugees that traveled from Libya to Italy or something like that, it shows that I know what I'm talking about, okay? And it's easier to get marks like that even if you did not give the exact definition. Most of the questions that I wrote, I just remember sometimes I would actually wing exams, and I wouldn't wing them not knowing what I'm doing 100%. But let's say I'm a bit shaky about a question, for as long as I've given my example, it shows that okay, I may not know the exact definition, but I do know what I'm talking about. So that's why it's very important to give examples, and they do come from textbooks and diversifying your reading. My next point is eliminating distractions and trying to maximize your focus. This comes into just your general study methods. I don't know what method you use, whether you use the Pomodoro method or you study a straight 10 hours a day, it doesn't matter. But I think eliminating distractions is extremely important. There's actually a lot of books that talk about how high performance students are students that when they are studying, they're not breaking their concentration every 2 minutes, every 5 minutes, TikTok pops up, Instagram notification, this person liked your post. You need to eliminate as many distractions as you can. If it means you need to study in silence, or you need to lock your room or put your phone away or something like that, you need to eliminate as many distractions as you can. You absorb more information when you don't have too many things going on around you. You can't have notifications popping up. That breaks your focus. Your stream of focus needs to be flowing, okay? You can't every minute be thinking about something else, okay? When you are studying, you need to be able to maximize the amount of time that you are studying. Maximize the amount of productivity that you have when you're studying. For example, somebody who studies 12 hours a day but has more distractions is not as effective or does not get as high grades as somebody who studies 6 hours a day, but that 6 hours they are maximizing their productivity. They are making sure they understand what they're doing. My next tip is writing. I know there is a new trend of writing on iPads, okay? And when I wrote my A-levels, we didn't even have this iPad out yet. we did not even have this thing out. Okay, so I know a lot of people write on iPads right now, and we are all guilty of it. We all like technology and stuff like that, but best believe in that exam you're not going to have this thing. You are not going to have your fancy Apple pen. You're not going to have your AirPods. You're not going to have your iPhone. You're not going to have all the fancy things that you think help you study right now. You need to get rid of all of that when you're trying to maximize your studying. You need to have your paper and your pen and your textbook, and you need to be thinking deeply. Okay, one thing that I've noticed about studying nowadays is we're not retaining as much information as we used to. And I don't know, I mean, iPads are very helpful, but this is just the traditional way of studying that I think is most effective. The traditional way of studying with the paper and pen, and actually writing down your notes, actually writing down the examples, actually writing down past papers is going to help you retain more information than if you're just reading from a screen, reading the textbook or reading something off of your screen. You need to actually be reading it and writing down notes, reading it and writing down notes. It's okay to use these things, and it's okay to use iPads and stuff, but I just think you need to be writing down, because there's that active engagement when you're writing down. You're actively thinking about what you're doing. When you're not writing down and you're just reading, you're not actively thinking about the work that you're writing. Another tip that I have is probably avoiding burnout and rewarding yourself. What I would try to do is to maximize the amount of time that I study in the morning, and then in the evenings I would really just chill. It's very good to take a break. You cannot kill yourself with studying. You cannot study all day and then expect to get really good results. You cannot not sleep and expect to get really good results. One thing about me, and during A-levels I would sleep. And when I say I would sleep, I'm not saying that I was lazy. I'm saying that when it's time to get 8 hours of sleep, I would get 8 hours of sleep. Remember that you're still young and your mind does run around a lot. You do have a lot of energy, but you do need to maximize on your sleep. So 8 hours a day standard. I know a lot of people think that 8 hours a day is just the status quo, was just touche at this point, but 8 hours a day is standard to sleep. So yeah, make sure that you're eating well, you have a balanced diet, maybe exercising and stuff like that. Just looking after your well-being, it'll help you perform much better in your exams. I would study, and then maybe I would reward myself with later on I'll be like, okay, if I do my 6 hours in the morning, later on I can watch 2 episodes of the series that I'm watching. This is now more relevant to the actual exam itself. In terms of answering questions in the actual exam, I would say do not leave anything blank. You do not know who is marking your paper. You do not know whether they think your answer is valid or not. You do not know whether they even know the exact definition. But I think when you write confidently in an exam, when you show that, like I said with the example of case studies before, when you show that you're confident about what you're writing, it also makes the examiner confident in marking your work. I can just imagine an examiner opening up somebody's book and they've left out so many blanks. It just shows that you weren't even confident about coming into the exam. You weren't even expecting a high grade. So for as long as there's somewhere where an answer is required, you better put in that answer. I do not want to hear it. I do not want to hear that you left an answer out. Do not, even if you do not know what you're talking about, certain things, for the mere fact that you've heard it in class, maybe you were studying it for 2 weeks in class, the mere fact that you've gone over it in class means that you probably know what you're doing, or you probably have a slight idea of what you're doing. So do not leave anything out. For example, what is a refugee? And this is a 4-mark question. What is a refugee? You absolutely do not know the exact definition that they gave in your textbook, but you can kind of improvise. A refugee is someone who leaves their country because they're fleeing from something that they don't like. That's maybe 1 mark already. So do not leave anything out. So yeah, guys, those are my top tips for how to get a Cambridge award. Yeah, it's not easy. I'm not gonna lie, it's not easy, and it's not something that I was expecting to happen twice in my life. It's not something that I was expecting to happen twice in my life, but it did. And now that it has happened, I'm very glad that I can share the information that I learned from getting those awards. Make sure you're putting in the work, okay? A C student will put in the work for a C student. An A student will put in the work of an A student. A Cambridge Award student will put in the work of a Cambridge Award student, okay? So for those of you who are actually serious about wanting to get Cambridge Awards, you better start putting in that grind, baby. gotta start putting that grind. So just let me know down below what type of exam tips you want. Do you want specific study tips, specific subject study tips? I'm definitely going to come at you guys with those. So yeah, don't forget to leave a like. Let's get to 500 likes down below, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. I love you guys so much. Bye.